worse and worse by the day. As much as President Mnangagwa and his Zanu PF friends want to ignore it, it is now clear that the regime has tried everything and nothing has worked, and hence the panic. Inviting Nelson Chamisa into this government would be a public admission that Zanu PF has failed to govern, the one thing Mnangagwa, this junta, had never considered. Anything to contain this worsening economic meltdown is now on the table. The Zimbabwe economic troubles dates back to Mugabe's days. When Mnangagwa seized power in November last year, the country's unemployment rate was a nauseating 90%. The people were queuing at banks for the little cash that was available, etc. Mnangagwa was cocksure he would make everything better. Nothing much changed until the 30th July 2018 elections, when things took a turn for the worse. There was panic buying as rumors spread that the country had no foreign currency to pay for imported goods such as fuel, wheat, and medicine. President Mnangagwa had soaked up most of the forex to pay for cars for chiefs and other election expenses. The new finance minister, Professor Mthuli Ncube, had poured fuel to the volatile financial market with his foolish remarks, undermining the confidence of the country's de facto local currency, the bond notes and the RTGs. The black market exchange rate of the bond note to the US dollar was 2:1 before the elections. Suddenly, it shot up to as much as 10:1 on the back of the minister's statements. Finance Minister Ncube, with his familiar blundering incompetence, announced in his recent national budget that import duty on cars will be paid in foreign currency and not bond notes. He opened the Pandora's box because now everyone else, pharmacists, petrol stations, everyone within economic clout is demanding payment in US dollars. It is the ordinary Zimbabwean with no economic leverage who are suffering the most, as they are forced to accept the bond notes as the official exchange rate of 1:1, but forced to pay in US dollars, which they buy on the black market at the rate of 10:1 or whatever. The minister has just thrown the people's poor and disadvantaged to the merciless wolves. I have the key to the economic recovery, Nelson Chamisa has often boasted, taking full advantage of the panic in Zanu PF leadership. President Mnangagwa and his cronies know that the economic meltdown is socially, politically, and morally unsustainable. There is a limit to how much suffering and deaths a people can endure silence before they finally say enough is enough. Quote. The regime's preemptive shoot to kill barbarism on the 1st of August was a timely reminder to the populace that Zanu PF will do to those who dare revolt. And yet, even with the fear of being shot, there is no doubt that there is rebellion in the air in Zimbabwe. The cup is full to overflow. The day the nation's bottled anchor is released, it will send out a tsunami wave that will sweep away the regime and its trigger-happy thugs. Mnangagwa is not a particularly clever man, but even he knows that he is now sitting on a time bomb. Come, let's talk. Chamisa's call has echoed and grown louder and louder with each passing day. Zanu PF bigwigs are now openly talking about inviting MDC Alliance to join them in government. In an interview with our Bulawayo Bureau yesterday, VP Mohadi said Zanu PF was not interested in coalition talks with the opposition as the ruling party has total control of parliament, reported the Herald. We haven't heard anything of that sort or any approach from those that would want a government of national unity with us, said VP Mohadi. But if they want to discuss with us, they can come, but certainly not on a GNU, because we have got the mandate emanating from the 2/3 majority in parliament. We can do it alone, unlike in 2008, where we had a sort of hung parliament. This time, there isn't going to be that kind of arrangement, he said. The vice president is lying. The 2008 GNU was not because there was a sort of hung parliament. No one, absolutely no one, not even SADC and AU election observers, recognized the election as a democratic process because of the blatant cheating in the March 2008 vote. ZEC took 6 weeks to whittle down Trangirei's 73% vote by Mugabe's own Fudian slip to 47% to force the runoff. This was then followed by the wanton violence to punish the electorate for having rejected Mugabe in the earlier vote. Mugabe claimed victory, but no one recognized him, and his Zanu PF regime as legitimate. No one. It was SADC that proposed the formation of the Government of National Unity, GNU, comprising Zanu PF and the 2 MDC factions, as a way out of the political impasse. In the Global Political Agreement, GPA, which gave birth to the GNU, the 3 parties agreed to implement a raft of democratic reforms and to write a new constitution whose principal purpose was to ensure that future elections in Zimbabwe were free, fair, and credible. The 2008 GNU was supposed to make sure that the blatant cheating and the wanton violence of 2008 elections would never be repeated again. South Africa's President Thabo Mbeki was the co-signatory to the GPA on behalf of SADC. The regional body was the guarantor of the agreement, the guarantor that the GNU would implement the reforms and deliver free, fair, and credible elections. Sadly, the GNU failed to implement even one democratic reform, and the new 2013 constitution was weak and feeble. And so the GNU failed to deliver free, fair, and credible elections. Morgan Trangirai and his MDC friends, who were expected to implement the reforms, took their eyes off the ball. Zanu PF rigged the 2013 elections, and still with no meaningful reforms implemented, the party went on to rig this year's elections too. Vice President Mohadi can witter all he wants about Zanu PF having the mandate emanating from the 2/3 majority in parliament. He knows that Zanu PF blatantly rigged the 30th July 2018 elections and has been told so to his face. The outgoing British ambassador to Zimbabwe, Ms. Tatiana Lang told Vice President Mohadi he was acting president, with Mnangagwa attending the UNGA, that the electoral playing field was not level. It should be remembered here that the British, especially Ambassador Lang, had worked tirelessly to get everyone else to accept the Mnangagwa regime, glossing over many shortcomings of the regime, glossing over the glaring electoral irregularities was a bridge too far, even for the British. I can solve your legitimacy problem, said Chamisa, with the opportunistic flair of a vulture after scraps. This is just nonsense from Chamisa. Election observers condemned the July 2018 election as flawed and illegal because the election results had, I quote, numerous errors and the figures could not be verified or traced. These problems did not just apply to Mnangagwa and Zanu PF candidates, but to the opposition's figures too. There was no verified voters roll, a legal requirement, for example. It was very naive on the opposition's part to agree to participate in an election without something as basic as a voters roll. So Mnangagwa and Zanu PF have no electoral mandate to govern because no one can verify the authenticity of the voters who they claim voted for them. Even if Chamisa was to accept Mnangagwa as duly elected, that will not change Mnangagwa's illegitimacy because it is not what Chamisa or anyone else says that matters here. The fact that the whole electoral process was flawed and illegal is all that matters here. We want unity, which is one of our mandates, to get the people of Zimbabwe together and speak with one voice, work and progress together. And this is important. In fact, we want them, the opposition, to be part of Zimbabwe. We don't want them to be left out, said Vice President Mohadi. Yeah, right. So Zanu PF blatantly rigged the July 2018 elections for the sake of unity and bringing the people of Zimbabwe together. If the economic and political situation in the country was not so perilous and a matter of life and death, one would laugh at the sheer stupidity of that statement. Vice President Mohadi, you and your Zanu PF cronies blatantly rigged the 30th July 2018 elections, confident you will deliver economic recovery. If need be, rig economic recovery. The worsening economic meltdown is forcing you to accept sharing political power with MDC alliance, hoping that will deliver the economic recovery. Let me tell you, sir, for the umpteenth time, whatever power sharing arrangement you come up with MDC alliance, it will not bring about any meaningful economic recovery. The root cause of Zimbabwe's economic meltdown is because the country is a pariah state, ruled by corrupt, incompetent, and vote-rigging thugs. As long as Zimbabwe remains a pariah state, there will never be any meaningful economic recovery. Zanu PF has rigged elections in the past and got away with it. Not this time. Zanu PF and MDC Alliance GNU will solve nothing, as it will only be seen as a Zanu PF in all but name. The only way forward this time is for the Zanu PF leaders to step down and MDC leaders to step aside and let the nation appoint an interim administration that will implement the democratic reforms leading to the holding of free, fair, and credible elections. Both Zanu PF and MDC leaders had many golden opportunities to get Zimbabwe to end its case of rigged elections and pariah state. They have wasted each and every one of these opportunities. What the nation is asking, indeed demanding, of you, Vice President Mohadi, Chamisa, and all your colleagues, is to stop holding the nation to ransom. Zimbabwe's economic meltdown is real, and the country is being dragged ever closer to the edge of the precipice with each passing day. The economic situation in the country is morally, socially, and politically unsustainable. And Zanu PF stepping down now is the only sure way to save the country. Time is running out.